So let us start from, I think, Chitraji. Chitraji has been with us since the beginning of prayers and meditations. So Chitraji, maybe if you can share a bit about yourself to everyone joining new, would be nice. So you are muted, Chitraji. Just unmute and share.
Yeah, I am in this session from 2020. Yeah, 20 beginning, I think. Yeah. Because after I watched a talk of Monica through Sri Aurobindo Society, I was very much pulled towards her sessions actually. So I used to attend all her sessions. I mean, that Savitri session, prayers and meditations, Friday sessions. Yeah, because I used to read prayers and meditations before also, but after I started attending these sessions, it became more meaningful to me. Yeah, this is what I want to say. Yeah.
Also, a little bit on where you are from. So, a location,
Okay,
if you can share the location.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I am from Bangalore actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go to ashram for a long time. Yeah, for me it is a very long journey.
Yeah. Good to have you with us, Chitraji. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, Jasmine, you want to go next?
I think I am the beginner in all of these people. I came across Mother, I think, through Taru. First time I heard, and then I started attending your sessions. And I am in Canada, and I joined randomly because of the timings, but I'm hoping to join regularly. So, yeah.
Yeah, good to have you joining us, Jasmine. Yeah, anyone who wants to go next, just share also where are you from, like location would be nice to know where everybody is. Jayashri, you want to go next? Yes. Unmute. Yeah.
I'm Jayashri. I'm from Bangalore. Chitraji, I'm from Bangalore.
Yeah, okay.
And I attended one of the Understanding Your Vital Nature from Sri Aurobindo Society, the Nama session. And then I listened to Monica's sessions. And then after that, I started participating in all her sessions. And that makes a lot of difference in my life. So with the grace and blessings of Mother, let's start.
And Jayashri is, I think your hometown is Pondicherry, right?
Yeah, my hometown is Pondicherry. My parents are there in Pondicherry.
Yes.
So
what a blessing.
Go to ashram every day.
Yeah.
My father is 80 and my mother is 73. But they go to ashram at 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, because local people, they will give a pass. So
yeah.
So they really enjoy staying there.
Lovely. Thank you. And good to have you joining us. Yeah, Preeti, you want to go next?
Okay, hi. I'm presently in Delhi, India, but been in Canada for a while now and associated with Delhi Ashram. I've been in the field of education myself with people with special needs and then children and then into yoga, I'm a yoga instructor. Mother held my hand through Monica, okay, through these COVID times. So through these prayer and meditation and pain and suffering series. So nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining, Preeti. So Jasmine, you can connect with Preeti actually.
Yeah, I think Preeti, you messaged me. You're back in Delhi now, so
yeah, I'm here.
Whenever you're back, do message me. You have my phone number, right? Okay, all right.
Yeah. So Preeti and Jasmine also did the pain and suffering course. I think the same batch together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we messaged, but then I think.
But now I think never too late. You can connect again.
Yeah. So next time you are in Canada, so hopefully It's,
Yeah.
the restrictions are gone too. So we'll make.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, Shweta, yes, please.
Yeah. So I'm Shweta and I'm from Gurgaon only. And I think this journey started for me, I think 6, 7 months ago, when I joined this Living Light session for integral education. And that's how I got associated. And I got to know that there are so many other beautiful sessions that, Monica conducts with Living Light. So that's how one by one I got into all these sessions. And since I've started attending prayers and meditation, it's been a very beautiful journey. So like I try not to miss any Tuesdays because it gives me a lot of solace, and it's shown me a path, and it it also helps me. It keeps encouraging me, as I go back and forth in this journey. So prayers and meditation is like one session which I try not to miss because it gives me a lot of solace and hope and strength to move forward, or at least stay where I am in this journey. So that is why, yeah, so that's from me.
So, Shweta lives in our apartments, and uh, we are in the same building. And she's also a teacher. Shweta is a teacher here in the school where my children also go. And the school is also based on the vision of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So, she's also a teacher in that integral education philosophy. Yeah, so good to have you here, Shweta, and continuing with us. And Shweta has two really lovely, very lovely daughters, teenage daughters. Yeah, great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining, Shweta. So, Claudia, you want to share next where you currently maybe based, if you can. Yeah.
Hi. I began to join this because I meet Monica in one of her workshops, the Vital, I think, and I like it so much. And she invites us to these prayers. And sometimes I can join, sometimes not, because I am in Mexico City, Mexico. So, but I really like it. It's working a lot for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining, Claudia. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Snehi, you want to share a little bit about yourself if you're there? Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm from Mumbai, and I've been attending Living Light sessions for a long time now, and that gave me the encouragement to walk on this path and explore more. And I'm happy and grateful to be here today. Yeah.
Yeah, we are also happy and grateful to have you here, our youngest participant here. So yeah, good to have you. So Sandeep ji, would you like to share a bit about yourself and where you from, and also if you can shortly share about the work you do?
Thanks for hi all. So this is Deep from basically Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So okay, when you started, when
You got muted, Sandeep ji. Yeah.
yeah, is it audible?
Yeah, it's cracking a little bit, but yes, audible.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure about the connection. Yeah. So yeah, as Monica was mentioning, someone says that I'm a beginner or something, like are all beginners. Let me clarify that. So we are all under just in there, but we are beginners. Yes, recently connected Monica ji and Living Life. With I was telling her that I was searching for some videos for on Sure Windows. So I found Living Light video really wonderful, and it touched a lot. And I used to, when we also session, we also do kind of interaction. So I always tell that the time of speaker comes and he will speak and he will go, he'll forget. that time has gone and the time has come, we will more interactive, right? The inner thing in us should come out, and that's the only visible change would happen. Inner change is happening anyway, but the change actual will be happening when we participate, right? So active participation is more required. That is the time we are going through, and that is the need of the hour also. So that is the one thing that connects me and Monica much, and wonderful to this is, and it's really nice to meet all of you, whoever is joining, and please keep joining in future sessions as well. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so I think as you said correctly, that the time has come that not only one person talks and the other listens, which is again beautiful, but let us reflect from the deepest part of our being. And that's what has been the opportunity provided to us through prayers and meditations. And just to share that when it started, it started at a phase that I was going through a very rough phase, and I stumbled upon Dr. Alok Pandey's talks on prayers and meditations, which really helped me pull out of my whatever dark phase I was going through, during the time of this lockdown only, 2020. And when I was just going through prayers and meditations again and again, listening to his talks on prayers, I think it was so enlightening for me that I suggested to Dr. Alok Pandey that, have you ever considered having a course or a series on prayers and meditations by the mother, where people can come together and reflect upon it and listen to it together? And he said that he hardly has any time since he is such occupied already. But he suggested that if we want to start something, we can. So with his blessings, we started prayers and meditations. And the earlier format was that whatever prayer I would suggest for the week, we will also listen to the talk by Dr. Alok Pandey, and then later on go through the transcript of the talk and share whatever we have to share. But gradually, as people proceeded, we all proceeded, we gradually made it into a different format, that nowadays we are open if we want to listen to his talks on YouTube. Every prayer, I think he has a talk now. But nowadays we try to reflect more from the depth of our heart. Like, even if we make mistakes, or there is no wrong or right reflection. A reflection is a reflection. So whatever resonates with our being in that particular prayer, that's what we share. How is this practically relevant for me, this prayer? So that's how it has been kind of evolving. And today I would just kind of start with the sharing now. And I think I'll switch off the video because video is not needed now. So I hope everyone can look at the screen. So this is the little document that I had shared with you, the PDF of prayers and meditations by the mother. And it says in the beginning, prayers and meditations consists of extracts from the mother's spiritual diaries. So it's not the whole of it, it's just extracts. Most of them are from period 1912 to 1917. The 313 prayers reproduced here were selected by the mother for publication. That these are the ones which would be published, go out to the public also. Written in French. So these are all originally written in French. They appear here in English translation. Many of the translations Sri Aurobindo himself has done, and those are marked with a star on the date of the prayer. A small collection of prayers, about 1/5 of the total. That's what we have, and even that is enough for a lifetime. Was brought about out in English in 1941. Sri Aurobindo translated some of these prayers himself, and the other cases revised translations made by disciples. These prayers, wholly or partly translated by Sri Aurobindo, are marked in this volume with an asterisk. So this is what I was sharing. And this is in the beginning, Mother shares something here, which it is good if we read. Mother says, some give their soul to the divine, some their life, some offer their work, some their money. A few consecrate all of themselves and all they have, soul, life, work, wealth. Those are the true children of God. Others give nothing. These nothing, these, whatever their position, power, and riches are, for the divine purpose, valueless ciphers. So she shares that if we do not gradually, as we go ahead in our journey, if we do not gradually consecrate the whole of our being to divine, then there is hardly any value. It's valueless, not even hardly any value, valueless ciphers. And when we talk about divine work, it is not one or the other kind of work. Mother says that in any work that you do, if you put a drop of true consciousness, it's a beautiful work, it's divine work. So many a times living in the ashram itself, we can become very egoistic, right? So there is no particular work that is a divine work. Any work which helps heal everyone, which helps spread love, compassion, kindness, generosity, which helps people from darkness to light, is a divine work. It can be done anywhere, in any which form. And then she continues, this book is meant for those who aspire for an utter consecration to the divine. So this is the choice that we all are trying to make. And throughout Mothers and Prayers and Meditations, we will see that it's what a beautiful journey of the lower self aspiring to the higher self, as if the darkness within me aspiring for more and more light, more and more peace, clarity, and wisdom. And that's the journey of each one of us. That's why it resonates so strongly. Yeah, and here Mother shares that this book, which comprises extracts from a diary written during years of intensive yogic discipline. Yogic means wanting to unite with your higher consciousness, the highest possible consciousness. It may serve as a spiritual guide to three principal categories of seekers: those who have undertaken self-mastery, those who want to, become masters of themselves, want to master their thoughts, feelings, emotions, master their work, action, words, speech. Those who want to find the road leading to the divine. So either am I seeking perfection in my life, then it's for me. If I am seeking the road leading to the divine, then it's for me. Those who aspire to consecrate themselves more and more to the divine work. So if I want to walk this spiritual path, where I want to have divine in life and want to give myself to the divine the whole of my life, then it is for me. So if we do not resonate with the word divine, we can also use the word perfection or self-mastery.
Monica?
Yes, Claudia, please. Yeah.
I was curious because I saw that she wrote the prayers from 1941 to 1948.
Mm-hmm.
That is almost the dates of the beginning of the Second War, almost, no? And the end. So where she was living, do you know that date?
Where she was living?
Yes.
In 1941?
Yes.
I think Chitraji would be able to tell rightly. So Chitraji, would you like to share?
No, actually 1941 she came to Pondicherry in ashram only, but 1914 her prayers started in 1912. That time she was in Japan.
Yeah. So she was,
okay,
so she was writing while she was in Japan. That's what Chitraji is sharing.
Yeah.
And in 1941, she came to Pondicherry ashram.
Yeah.
And not
she
the
already,
ashram, Pondicherry.
she from 1920 she is in Pondicherry. She was in Pondicherry.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not 1941 to 1948 is not the time when she write?
No. So
No.
no. So that duration of these the prayers is here.
It was in the beginning. Okay.
1912 to 1917.
Okay.
Yes.
To the okay.
Yes.
Thank
And this note is written between 1941 and 1948.
Okay.
Yeah. So let us start with the first prayer today that we have in this book. The first prayer is what we are doing today, November 2, 1912, which has been translated, it seems, by Sri Aurobindo himself. So I would request one of you, if it could be, I think I would, in fact, invite Snehi today, if she could read this prayer for all of us, and then we can one by one share our reflections. Snehi, would you like to? Is it okay if you unmute and read it for all of us?
Yeah, so am I supposed to read out the entire passage? Or...
Yeah, so this little passage, the full prayer, you just slowly read out, and then one by one we will later on, everyone can share their reflections.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Although my whole being is in theory consecrated to thee, O Sublime Master, who art the life, the light, and the love in all things, I still find it hard to carry out this consecration in detail. It has taken me several weeks to learn that the reason for this written meditation, its justification, lies in the very fact of addressing it daily to thee. In this way, I shall put into material shape each day a little of the conversation I have so often with thee. I shall make my confession to thee as well as it may be, not because I think I can tell thee anything, for thou art thyself everything, but our artificial and exterior way of seeing and understanding is, if it may be so said, foreign to thee, opposed to thy nature. Still, by turning towards thee, by immersing myself in thy light at the moment when I consider these things, little by little I shall see them more like what they really are, until the day when, having made myself one in identity with thee, I shall no more have anything to say to thee, for then I shall be thou. This is the goal that I would reach. Towards this victory, all my efforts will tend more and more. I aspire for the day when I can no longer say I, for I shall be thou. How many times a day still I act without my action being consecrated to thee. I at once become aware of it by an indefinable uneasiness, which is translated in the sensibility of my body by a pang in my heart. I then make my action objective to myself, and it seems to me ridiculous, childish, or blameworthy. I deplore it. For a moment, I am sad until I dive into thee, and therefore, and there losing myself with a child's confidence, await from thee the inspiration and strength needed to set right the error in me and around me. Two things that are one. For I have now a constant and precise perception of the universal unity, determining an absolute interdependence of all actions.
Thank you, Snehi. So let us begin sharing whatever we have resonated with. It doesn't matter if it's a bit, a line, a part, whatever little or maybe whole, whatever you have resonated with. Let us unmute one by one and let us share. Anyone who wants to start sharing? Yes, Jashri, please.
Yeah. Monica, the second para, that I act without my action, being consecrated to thee. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead. Yeah.
That's what I feel like most of the time I do. Without thinking, and just jump into the thing, and then, oh yeah, this is wrong, and then coming back, and at sometimes never coming back, and after a long time, after getting a pinch from outside, after going through all the sufferings, I come back, and that creates an uneasiness. So that in my case, whenever I do all those, when the action is not consecrated, means I feel that if I do the action without thinking about mother, or if without offering it to mother, or just never from our, if I act from my egoistic nature, then it has all that indefinable uneasiness. What I have felt is it shows on my body, through my body pain, or some physical suffering and mental suffering. But slowly, after coming to your sessions now, slowly I have started realizing it, and then as mother says, that yes, this is wrong, I'm not in the right space now, I have to come out of it. And this one, I liked it very much, because losing myself with a child's confidence, that you say in your meditations, in the last step, if you cannot go, the easy step is to stay there, right? In the last one sentence you say. So then I give, yes, mother, I have done, I don't know what to do. So I just leave it at there, and you do whatever a mother knows best. When I leave it at that, I really feel peaceful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you. I think this paragraph will resonate with most of us. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes. Yeah, anyone who wants to add on next? Anything?
I'll go, Monica.
Yes, please, Chitraji.
Yeah, this prayer, we reflected it long back also. Yeah, because when I read it again today, although my whole being is in theory consecrated to thee, O Sublime Master, who art the life, the light, and the love in all things, I still find it hard to carry out this consecration in detail. Yeah, it's very much true. Till it is hard only to consecrate completely. But at least I am able to remind myself often about this surrender and consecration in detail, and often question myself whether I am really surrendering truly, or only it is a lip service. Definitely that question used to arise in me actually. And also the writing part also, for this written meditation, mother is, yeah, this is very beautiful. This also I recently started to write, actually, write in a diary in each and every happening. And that helps me to actually really analyze whether my actions are adhering to the divine consciousness or not, which are whether they are going towards that or merely they are all egoistic. And actually I could analyze that because that written thing is helping me a lot. Yeah. And also, for thou art thyself everything, but our artificial and exterior way of seeing and understanding is, if it may be so said, foreign to thee, opposed to thy nature. Yes. Yeah, in that sense, I feel we have to tell everything. If we write, we will feel that satisfaction, and also we will come to know about all those things, what are all wrong and what is right. That way I felt it is helpful. And still, by turning towards thee, by immersing myself in thy light, at the moment, no, previous, actually, yeah. When I consider these things little by little, I shall see them more like what they really are, until the day when, having made myself one in identity with thee. Yeah, this one. This identification, when I read this line, I felt, if you really think about it, it is very easy, but but it is taking a lifetime or lifetimes, actually, that identification, because of the folly of the human nature. I feel it is very stubborn. It is not cooperating. One part, if one part is cooperating, at least the central surrender is there, other parts are not, actually. So this identification, yeah, it is really, I feel it will take lifetime. Yeah. This is the goal that I would reach. Towards this victory, all my efforts will tend more and more. Yeah, mother is saying this, but yes, this is a long way, I feel, that identification. And the next para, as you said, yeah, this is very, very true. As Jayshree also shared, no? So many times, if I'm not consecrating or surrendering, there is a pang in my heart. Yeah, it is a retrospective thing, but I could feel that, actually. I feel that, yeah, we are not surrendering fully. That is why all these confusions, and yeah, that is very much true. And this is a beautiful prayer, I think, actually. Avoid from thee the inspiration and strength needed to set right the error in me and around me. Two things that are one. Yeah, if we fail to consecrate or surrender, yeah, definitely we can make this prayer for the inspiration and strength. Yeah. And yeah, last line also, it is beautiful. I have now a constant and precise perception of the universal unity, determining an absolute interdependence of all actions. Yes. As usual, the finishing note always, mother's prayers are very beautiful. Yeah, this is my take.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chitraji. Yes. Yeah, anyone who wants to go next? Shweta, yes, please.
So the initial first paragraph, yeah, it's so beautiful. Although my whole being is in theory consecrated to thee, O Sublime Master, who art the life, the light, and the love in all things, I still find it hard to carry out this consecration in detail. It has taken me several weeks to learn that the reason for this written meditation, its justification, lies in the very fact of addressing it daily to thee. This I found so nice, and I feel so grateful that, like at some point, Mother wrote, her prayers and meditation. So, we have it today, and it's so beautiful. Like at one point of time, Mother actually had this written meditation, and such a beautiful thing to just write your prayers, whatever, like for each of us, like even Chitraji was sharing that she started now. Yeah, this is like, I found it so beautiful. And yeah, I might also try to do this written meditation, like whatever your thoughts. And generally we do converse with mother, right, with God, with mother, with the divine. So I think writing would take it to another level, because as we all know, like when you're writing, it's like our focus attention is much more authentic and concentrated. So that would take it to another level, I feel. So yeah, today I felt this was my take home. And like Chitraji said, this prayer, yes, even I have attended this session where we took this prayer earlier. And I feel that somehow this time the comprehension is deeper, the comprehension of the essence of what the mother is sharing, it's deeper. And I also like the last two lines where I get it so much more beautifully now, that for I have now a constant and precise perception of the universal unity determining an absolute interdependence of all actions. Because you do get it, it's all so entangled and so layered and interdependent, all actions and everything. It's so minute, macro, micro, that it requires our whole being, complete being. When we really function with the whole being, I think that is when we can make this progress. And yeah, long way to go, like I always say, but very beautiful path. Yeah, I feel very grateful to mother for writing such beautiful prayers.
Yeah, thank you, Shweta.
There
Yes,
is a
Claudia.
part
Yes, Claudia.
where she say, I shall not more have anything to say to thee, for then I shall be thou. This is the goal that I will reach. Towards this victory, all my efforts will tend more and more. I aspire for the day when I can no longer say I, for I shall be thou. So this part reminds me so much your workshop, yes, the vital. This I is coming from this strong ego, yes, that we all the time try to fight every day. I don't know if fight or to tame maybe. And I see that it's coming more when we are in these times in with our families in Christmas or in the parties, when it's very difficult to separate, to detach from the moment. Yes, so it become this time of individuality. Yes, I have this gift for you. Yes, I have all these things for you. I prepare this. Instead of say this is a unity, this is a moment of nice way to be with our loves. It comes so much this proud. I still working a lot with this part, and I think this I resonate a lot with what you say. Yes, it's a goal, no? It's a goal to reach, to not to say I, no, one day, to become the unity, no, with the universe, and to observe that we all are acting together, no, that our acts resonate in others. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Claudia. Yes. I think somebody said, some spiritual master, he said that you think you are enlightened. If you think you are enlightened, go spend some time with your family. So I think we have beautiful challenges in front of us, which are very grounding in nature, that the way we behave in front of people who we seem to love, care for. And so much of I-ness comes forward as you were sharing. And to notice that, I think to be able to notice that itself is such a big blessing, because otherwise we are the I. But if we begin to notice the I in us, I think that itself is a beautiful baby step ahead on the path. Yeah. And yeah, again, a long journey, but yes, a beautiful one, to have this recognition that there is work to be done. There is work to be done. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for bringing these few lines up. Yeah. Anyone who wants to go next, and anything that you resonated with, you want to share before we kind of take it up for the last reflection. Anyone has anything? Preeti, you want to share anything? Jasmine, if you have anything to share. Snehi, Sandeep ji, anyone, anyone who has not shared yet, if you have anything to share. Okay, so I'm assuming there is no further reflection at the moment. If you have any, please unmute and share. So let us go through this for the last time in this session, not the last time, but for this session. And let us see what comes up and what are, let's see. Although my whole being is in theory consecrated to thee. Now this itself is a beautiful step to ask ourselves whether we have done that or whether we would like to do that, at least in theory. So this is in theory, intellectually. That is the first step. To understand anything mentally is the first step. With heart, we maybe understand more later. But at least in theory, if we check our lives, we can ask ourselves, has this step happened for us? Or would we like to make this step happen? Although my whole being is in theory consecrated to thee, O Sublime Master, who art the life, the light, and love in all things. So she is also talking about the qualities of the divine consciousness, which is actually qualityless. And yet, parallelly, we also have these qualities of light, love, life, vitality, compassion, kindness. So these are all qualities of the divine, if one can say. So the more we get in touch with our true consciousness, the more love oozes out of the being, a love which is not dependent upon situations, expectations, or demands, a love which cannot be but love, a peace which cannot be but peace, a light which cannot be but light. And these are the degrees which increase in our being the more we unite with our true consciousness. So mother is giving us a hint here, almost, if I can see, you are the life. What is the life animating this body? Now the physical body, when the consciousness leaves it, as good as dead, it rots in some time. So what is this consciousness animating the body? That is you. You are the consciousness which is animating this body. It's so obvious, 24/7 present with us. And that's why we miss it, because we take it for so granted that everyone is alive, everyone is kicking. So what's the big deal? And this is the divine consciousness which we are all looking for, which is so close to us. It is can't even call close, because it's so one with us. You are the life, the light, and the love in all things. So the light with which I see everything, the light with which I notice my thoughts, the light with which I notice my inner movements, the light with which I notice the bodily sensations. I am that light. I am that divine consciousness. So to know it consciously, I still find it hard to carry out this consecration in detail. And as you all shared, this is the challenge all of us face. That in theory, we may say, I've given my life to the divine. But in actuality, when things happen, when I do interactions in relationships, at workplace, whatever work I may be doing, I see that I'm really not able to do it selflessly. There is so much of I-ness. There is so much of want and this beggar tendency in me that all the time I want to be somebody special. If not a high somebody special, let me be a low somebody special. So the ego always want a special character to itself. And this that is what makes the consecration a bit difficult, because we see that there are so many little demands and expectations of the ego hiding in each gesture that we make. So she notices this, that I still find it hard to carry out this consecration in detail. It has taken me several weeks to learn that the reason for this written meditation, I think Chitraji already shared the importance and the benefit of this written meditation, and this is for each one of us to experience for our own self. That when we write something, which we make it more material, it becomes more tangible and real for us. So if I have an aspiration in my thoughts, when I write this aspiration down, I give it a reality. And that's why writing down, say, few lines from Savitri, writing down a few Kabir couplets, any beautiful words full of light, they become a part of us, because the body is also involved, the physical consciousness is also involved. And whatever we do involving the physical consciousness, it leaves an imprint in our consciousness. So it does its work, whether I know it or not. It does its work. And also that the divine is already aware of all the aspirations and hidden, ideas in me. But I become conscious of it when I write it down. That, oh, this is what I have been trying to say. Now it's much clearer to me. So I become more conscious of my hidden aspirations, or maybe hidden desires, if I want to call them. They become more obvious to me. It helps me bring more clarity. Its justification lies in the very fact of addressing it daily to thee. In this way, I shall put into material shape each day a little of the conversation I have so often with thee. So as one of you was sharing, Shweta, I think that everyone is all the time, most of us are conversing with the divine in one way or the other. But it does not take a concrete shape. So mother says that by this act of writing down whatever is my talk with thee, whatever little I want to write down, I give it a concrete shape so that I can then work on it. Whenever we give any question or a reflection a concrete shape, then it becomes more clear to us, and we can work on it. The inner work can start. But when it remains only in subtle realm, like in thoughts, feelings, it is there, but I'm not really writing it down, then it remains there for a long time without me becoming conscious of it. So it is just for us to become conscious of our own hidden aspirations. I shall make my confession to thee, as well as it may be, in whatever way I can put it out, not because I think I can tell thee anything. Now the divine is everywhere. Where is the place where divine is not? When the divine, it's the creation of the divine, the whole world and the world beyond the worlds. It's all manifestation of divine. So there is no place where the divine is not. So she shares that not because I think I can tell thee anything. You are antaryami, you are omniscient, omnipresent. For thou art thyself everything. But our artificial and exterior way of seeing and understanding is, if it may be so said, foreign to thee, opposed to thy nature. So with our limited mind, whatever we see is just a little bit of a humongous picture. And this is, she says that this is opposed to thy nature. So the limited conceptual mind, which always boxes and categorizes people and situations into good or bad. Acha, this is good for me, this is bad for me. That person is a good person, that person is a bad person. So the limited mind always conceptualizes and boxes and categorizes things. Such is the way of limited mind. And that is, she says, that is opposed to thy nature, which is all knowing, all pervading. But the mind cannot know. The limited mind cannot know. It can just make guesses, and that too very doubtful guesses. So we can never be sure of whatever I'm feeling, whether it's the absolute truth. And it helps to be doubtful of that. And that's why people, Buddha said attachment is the cause of suffering. Whenever I cling to my ideas and opinions, which are very, very limited in themselves, I suffer. Why do I suffer? Because that's not the whole picture. So it's very good to hold our ideas and opinions and thoughts lightly, very gently. That yes, they are there, but there is more to it, which I don't know yet. So that openness, if that is there in our life, I think that can do wonders, because that makes us more receptive in our life. I'm more open to listen to others. Wherever I see light, I open to it. Wherever I see truth, I open to it. Why? Because I already know that my mind is limited in nature. So Mother says that since you are everything, but since our ways are very artificial and exterior, the mind only sees through senses. How do we see? Through senses. And through senses, we perceive things in a very, very limited manner. Now, if I look at a pen, how a human being looks at a pen and how a fly or a dog would perceive a pen is extremely different. So when I look at a pen, I make it into something very solid and real, that yes, this is there and this is the pen with which I write. But we have no idea how a fly may be perceiving it. We have no idea how a dog or maybe an alien from another planet may be perceiving that same thing, if we can call it a same thing. So it's because of our sense perceptions that our knowledge through limited mind is very, very limited, and we cannot be sure of it. So always to doubt what we are perceiving through senses, that there is more to it, there is more to it. That whatever I may be considering as good today, it may not necessarily turn out to be good. Whatever I am guessing to be a very difficult challenge today, maybe it turns out something different absolutely in longer run. So to hold my ideas lightly, gently, because they don't see complete picture, it's opposed to the nature of the divine, which is all knowing. Still, she says, by turning towards thee, by immersing myself in thy light at the moment when I consider these things, little by little, I shall see them more like what they really are. Now, this is the whole crux of the matter Mother is sharing here. In Buddhism, they say that it is important to realize our true nature because we don't see the things as they truly are. We see through a filter of our perceptions, right? We see through a filter of our perceptions. And that filter can never show me absolute picture. So it's as good as I'm dreaming all the time. I have thoughts about people, I have opinions about people, but they're as good as, see you, Jasmine, see you. Yeah. Yes, you can catch up with the recording. Thank you. So, whatever ideas, thoughts, feelings are going on in my head throughout the day, just notice it like a dream. We don't take our dreams seriously, do we? They come and go. They are so fleeting. So can we use this hint here that Mother says that we do not see things as they really are? I may have a person in front of me who may be appearing very cruel or abusive to me, but I don't know the picture. I cannot be sure whether my own perception is making him abusive actually. And when I shift in consciousness within, things change. That very same person may appear very differently now. So to recognize that it's actually appearing as if we are dreaming all the time, not only when we are sleeping, but even when we are awake and sense perceiving and thinking according to our limited mind, it's almost as good as a dream is going on, which is like a filter and which is stopping me from seeing things in a larger picture. So she says that when I do this written exercise, when I open things to you, O divine consciousness, by immersing myself in thy light at that moment, when I consider these little things, little by little, I shall see them more like what they really are. So as one of you was sharing that the more that we have been reading this prayer for, I don't know which number of time, and this prayer has something more to offer us. So little by little more is revealed by writing down whatever is going on in our ideas. We will be aware of more filters that we are holding on to, clinging on to. That, oh, in childhood, this had happened with me, and that's why I was seeing this with this filter. And suddenly that filter drops. You become a little more open. Then another case. Oh, as a child or as a young adult, this is what happened to me, and that's why I was looking through this incident through this filter. So another filter drops. So we realize that it's true that we are all dreaming. And the more we become one with our conscious presence, which is alive in us all the time, the more we are able to be more aware and open to see things as they really are, and not as I want to see them according to my liking or preference. So you're open to see the truth. Now, truth may be very, very harsh for the ego, but the ego now says, I don't care. Let it come, because truth is more important than me. So now I'm almost in a state of self-forgetfulness. I don't bother whether I stay or not, because truth is more important than me. So show me the truth behind this picture. That becomes more important. Until the day when, having made myself one in identity with thee, I shall no more have anything to say to thee, for then I shall be thou. So this is about unification with the divine consciousness, what we call yoga. Yoga is a unification. You're uniting, doing a yoga. What is the unification that is happening? The lower self, the outer personality or the egoistic personality, slowly, gradually merges fully in the ocean of divine personality, the divine being. As we say, the wave crashes back into the ocean. Wave was never separate from the ocean. What is to the wave but the ocean? All there is to the wave is the ocean itself. But the wave does not know this. So the egoistic personality thinks of itself as something separate from the divine. That divine may be something different, or maybe it doesn't exist, but I am something different and separate. Whether I am a victim personality or a predator personality, I am very, very special and unique. But the wave does not realize in the process that all the while it has been the ocean. And another way of looking at it is, whenever I look at a thought, we become so lost in thoughts and feelings and sense perceptions and ideas and opinions that I don't see that all there is to the thought is the awareness of the thought. Can you have a thought and be not aware of it? Has it ever happened with any one of us? Whenever we have a thought, I know that there is a thought. So the knowing is in the background. But instead of focusing on the knowing, I always give into the drama, because that is more glittery. Knowing is not glittery. Knowing is very bland, one can say. So to recognize myself as the knowing, to recognize myself as the awareness behind my stories, that's where the unification happens. Now, thought is a tool, not to saying, that thought has to be abandoned. Feelings are a tool. So slowly we become more masterful of our tools. I can now use the thoughts rather than being puppeted away by the thoughts. I can now use the deep feelings of compassion, kindness, or generosity rather than being puppeted away by the superficial feelings of, these jealousy, anger, blame, game, whatever goes on in the name of ego.
Monica,
Yes, please. Yeah.
sorry. I also observe that, for example, sometimes I have a very good time with my family. Like I laugh with them, and we play. We have a very beautiful time. But I observe that this is not also that is not. I mean that is still be in the ego, no? That is still be not in a higher divine place, because it's very easy to lose in that happy times, no? Also,
Yes. Yes.
it's,
Yes.
so I mean, where do you put this? Like, I mean, because it's not anger is not in way. I mean, how
Yeah.
did you do with that? It's like,
Yes. So I think I resonate with what you are sharing, that especially in the happier times with our family, we almost scatter our consciousness. We disperse our consciousness. And that's why many masters have actually asked for pain, because pain kept them collected. Pain kept them gathered, if one can say. They began to live within with the pain. And even many Christian mystics, they would say that prayer is almost in opposition with a comfortable living. And we all have seen in our lives that whenever an intense prayer arises in our being, it's mostly when we are in pain. Mostly when. Because in happier times, if we are not a ripened kind of a person, in happier times, we easily scatter the threads of our consciousness in the whatever, the story or the drama. So I would resonate with what you are sharing. And I think that's why at this level of consciousness that we are as collectively as human beings, pain becomes a necessity almost to gather the threads of our consciousness. It helps to collect ourselves. And slowly then it shows us a glimpse that an ingathered state of living is possible, which we can carry on even in happier times. Yeah, but usually happier times scatter our consciousness. And I have personally felt this with my own self also, that whenever I have intensity in me, these are the times where more pain may be there of some or the other sort, where a deep kind of an aspiration arises in the being. And this depth does not remain the same depth when there are happier times. So we need these, if I can say, whips of pain again and again, kind of blows again and again to ingather ourselves at this stage of consciousness. Yes. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So then she says that I shall then no more have anything to say. So once we become one with the knowing, which is our true self, usually we are identified with the thoughts and feelings. I am the thought, I am the feeling. That's what we do. I am the desire, I am the expectation, I am the demand, right? This is what we do. But she says that slowly, gradually, as I become, until the day when I, having made myself one in identity with thee, absolute union with that consciousness, the divine presence within us, then there is nothing more to be said. That's why they say silence is the biggest teaching. But before silence becomes the biggest teaching, we have to use words. So words are necessary, I think, before we reach the stage where in silence communication happens and almost there is no need for communication. This is the goal that I would reach. So she's sure of that goal, because this is not, this is the destiny of each and every human being. Self-realization and walking towards divinity, our own divinity, is our birthright. It's not only something preserved for few special human beings. We all have to become one with the divine, whether in this lifetime or 100th one, doesn't matter, because there is so much time in eternity. But this has to happen. So she's sure about the goal. This is the goal that I would reach. Towards this victory, all my efforts will tend more and more. So now she also talks about collaborating with the divine, that I know that this is going to happen, and hence all my efforts will be putting forward in this towards this divine victory. So collaborating with the divine. So what has to happen in 10 lifetimes? Can it happen in 3 lifetimes? Okay, let me work towards it, put effort. I aspire for the day when I can no longer say I, for I shall be thou. And the last paragraph, which is again the most resonant, I would say, with where we are, all of us, mostly. How many times a day still I act without my action being consecrated to thee? We do this so many times, especially with our loved ones, because these are our sticky spots. People who are tied to us as family, they become our sticky spots. Most of the reactions and impulses come out in front of them. In many other cases, we can be really nice, gentle human beings. But when it comes to these soft spots, we become like really ravenous, hungry tigers. So this is our inner work. This is where we have to detach, because we are attached at these soft spots. And then we realize that, okay, this is where I need to work. And it is beautiful to sense this uneasiness, because mother shares that usually we are one with the uneasiness. I've become used to uneasiness. I think Jayashree ji once was sharing that there was once nobody at home, and she although at once liked that peace at home, but then she suddenly became not very easy with that peace that was there. It was too much of peace. And since we are not used to be with that peace, we are so used to be anxious all the time, as if we have become comfortable with uneasiness. So mother shares that once we become more and more close to our psychic being, our true consciousness, soul consciousness, then it becomes very difficult for us to be uneasy. Like dal mein kuch kala, you have these lentils and pulses, and in that you have a stone. So you would easily recognize that stone. But if there are all the stones all over, then you don't bother. So it becomes very easy for us, the more we become used to a simple living, a non-egoistic living, mostly. Whenever an egoistic action is taken, it makes us uneasy, it disturbs us. And through that disturbance, I know that, okay, something happened and I have to maybe reflect over it. Maybe I did something or acted something or spoke something which need not be said. I spoke from my tendency or a bad impulse, which maybe can be corrected. That's why I'm feeling uneasy. So this uneasiness is a beautiful, beautiful signal if one can be sensitive of them. Mother also talks about this signal for little children, since they are already connected with their psychic being very much. For them, it's very easy to sense this uneasiness. So mother says that little children should be made aware of sensing this uneasiness. For example, if I hit a person, a little child hits somebody. So to later on reflect with the child, how did you feel when you hit that person? And if the child is truthful enough, he would say that I did not feel nice. I did not feel comfortable. So then what would you like to do now? How would you like to correct that feeling? What would you like to correct it with? So maybe a hug or whatever, hugging the friend who he hit or whatever. So to never ignore these periods of uneasiness. I think that really, really helps. And slowly a time comes that we have more simplicity in life and lesser periods of uneasiness, rather than an uneasiness continuing and only glimpses of simplicity. So the shift happens. Pang in my heart. Mother shares that the outer personality, the emotive heart, the desire soul resides in the front part of our heart. And in the depths of our heart is the psychic being. The compassion, generosity, all that arises from the depths of the heart. So whenever we act out of egoistic consciousness, jealousy, anger, hate, we see that our chest starts to burn. So this is a kind of a signal that I am at I am having a case of a mistaken identity, if I can say. I'm identifying with egoistic consciousness, and that's why this is happening. So if we can sense that and we can trace our steps back to home, that really helps. So this pang in my heart that no, I did something which is not feeling right. So to recognize that and to correct that, I then make my action objective to myself. So you detach from the action, you see whatever was done in the action. It seems to me ridiculous, childish, or blameworthy. You can reflect over your action that, oh, that was not necessary. You can maybe laugh about it, or maybe blame yourself for a little while, mother says, but only for a little while. Maybe repent over it for a little while. I deplore it for a moment, she says. I'm sad until I dive into thee. So not to stay in that sadness and sorrowness and blame game that, oh, I did it again, I do it all over again all the time. Not go there too much, but to find the resolution in the depths of our heart. So I personally take it as, which has been helping me, whenever I do any action where I get lost in the story and I make an action getting lost in the story, I recognize it. When I want to correct that action, I sit with myself for some time and meditate, knowingly knowing myself as awareness of that action. And then I become detached from the blame. Then I also correct the case of mistaken identity, and I also get peace and absolute joy and lightness in correcting that case of mistaken identity. And this will happen as long as we have human body. Things will happen which will stir us. But what is important for me is that to find the way back home, to correct the case of mistaken identity. That's what is important. Failing is not a problem. Using the failure as a stepping stone is what I need to do. Until I dive into the depths of my heart, depths of our being, connecting with ourselves as the presence of awareness, as the presence of consciousness, there losing myself with a child's confidence. What does a child do? What does a child do? Child leaves all to the mother or the parent. He knows that he is very little and he cannot know the whole picture. So if he has made an error, he hides into the mother and he finds solace there. So to hide into the mother residing in our heart and to find the solace there, that mother will guide me, whatever action may be needed to correct that mistake or error. You will be guided. We all will be guided. So the right action will be taken through that inspiration from within. And then await from thee the inspiration and strength needed to set right the error in me and around me, two things that are one. So maybe I needed to say sorry to someone. So that delving into the mother, going deep into the heart, in whatever which way resonates with you, will give me the strength to go and say sorry. That, hey, I committed a mistake and I'm sorry to hurt you. And I didn't mean that. We don't become lesser in saying sorry. We become closer to our hearts in saying sorry, I would say. So not to need to be right all the time. Yes, I committed a mistake and I'm so sorry that I hurt you, but I didn't mean to. Whatever, I'm just kind of putting words for an imaginary situation. For I have now a constant and a precise perception of the universal unity, determining an absolute interdependence on all actions. Last Sunday, I think we were talking about the Groundhog Day, this movie, where this person is repeatedly having the same incidences all through his life before he makes a shift in his consciousness, where the weather and the seasons also undergo a shift. So to realize that we are one with what we seem to be separate from. If a person appears to be very cruel, difficult, I am not standing next to that person and totally kind of detached from that person. No. I am projecting that person out of me. So whatever opinions I have in my head, I am making it reality in front of me. And the moment I shift my inner consciousness. We have seen miracles happening in relationships. People change. People change. All of us have, little experiences there. People soften their hearts. So they are not as cruel as they believe, as we believe them to be. So to make that shift of consciousness within, and mother is already aware of this universal unity at this point of time while she's writing this prayer. She already has that realization, that whatever I see outside is within me. And that day I was reading a Christian mystic, and she said there that, I think in that talk that I had shared on the group, she said that whatever evil thing or whatever quality that repels you in another person, just practice the opposite quality in yourself. So if a person appears very unkind to you, what is the message for me? I have to practice kindness in me. If a person appears very, very angry and abusive all the time, what is the message for me? I have to work with patience and compassion. And then things change because I reclaim my power back. By giving power away to other people, we lose and drain our energy. By reclaiming power back, that, okay, this is my task, I will do this, we reclaim our power. We become one with the divine strength. So, to recognize that and to do that, I think that's where we need effort. So let us put all our effort in making ourselves these beautiful flowers which we are supposed to be. All of us, each one of us, and to have goodwill for people around us, that no matter they may appear cruel at one point of time, or maybe not wanting benefit of us, but have we ever wanted benefit of them? Let us focus there. So to radiate goodwill from our hearts, so that we may be connected to our own psychic and divine presence, and hence radiate that in the atmosphere which is absolutely needed at this moment, specifically in the world. So let me be a drop of poison less before I remark to other person. Let us work on ourselves. So anything to add on? I think we started late, so a bit stretched sessions today. Anybody wants to add on anything before we end? Yes, Sandeep ji.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Monica. Shima. Yes, not about this passage, as you are already, we are all so merged into that nice discussion what you were having, and nice memories. Just wanted few points about. I'm sure you have already taken these things earlier also whenever this prayer and meditation classes goes. But this is a kind of gift from the Divine Mother through prayer and meditation, that she had shown us the correct way of how to pray, right? So she is the Divine Mother, right? So she actually takes care of everything, including our progress and our development, correct? So how we can do that? The best way is for a aspiration, which has the concentrated form of aspiration is through prayer, correct? So how to pray? When we human beings are so unfortunate, we don't know even how to pray. The mother is showing us that come out of that, I need this, I need that, I how nicely she has put up. No longer when that is the aim of our every one of us should be, our aim is like, I can no longer say I, for I shall be thou. And each time, if we can remember this, then the small little troubles, whatever we have, whatever we're going through at some point of time, it might not even that problematic if we can remember this. At least short prayers, but very, very relevant. I can recall one of the talks in our Odisha only. One person, he has done a lot of research in this prayers and meditation prayers, actually, so for a long time. And when he was saying, like I have not come across anything like such. Probably his personal opinion or experience, I would say. He has compared prayers and meditations with fifth Veda, he was telling. I'm not sure why he has spoken like that, but he was sharing his experience, and he was putting his presentation over there. So in the meantime, he had he said that this is kind of a Veda for us. So that much relevant if we can take it is that take these things with us going forward in our life. So very, very relevant, and I'm really grateful to part of this. Thanks, Monica ji. Gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandeep ji, for adding on that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, anyone? Anything more to add on?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But when I get upset with someone about big things or with myself, if I observe them like adults, yes, I don't want to forgive them because I say they already have experience and blah, 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 yes. But when I observe them like a children's, for my heart, it's very easy to forgive. I don't know, it's just like we are all children, yes, like we are all learning all the time, yes, but we don't allow it. We say, no, that person already knows, no? So we don't, I don't know if I correct in that, but when I try to observe the other person like a children, I just melted inside, like
that's a beautiful that's a beautiful way, I believe, Claudia. So thank you for actually sharing it. So I'll just share it again for all of us. So I think if I understood correctly, Claudia has just shared that when I look at somebody's, maybe whatever people are doing, maybe a fault or whatever, and I look at them as adults, it's difficult to forgive and let go. But when I look at all of us as children, then my heart melts and it's easier to let go and kind of move on. Is that what you shared, the essence, Claudia?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's really very powerful, because as you were saying it, I was feeling it in myself that it would be really nice to actually look at all of us, I think in practical, not only in theory, to look at all of us as children of the divine. All are children, whether I'm 80, 90, 70, 40, doesn't matter, or 5-year-old, doesn't matter. And since children, also stumble and err, and all of us, not only children, adults also err, but as adults, we become too solid, as if we cannot fail and make mistakes. So this gives a beautiful opportunity to let go of things easily, thinking of all as children of the divine. I think that's really very powerful. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for putting it forward. I think with children, we are very, very heart, as you said, the heart melts with children, but with adults, we become too rigid. So if that can happen, that shift can happen, that would be really beautiful. Yes. Yeah. Great. So shall we end it here, all of us? Okay. Okay, then thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for connecting, sharing, and reflecting together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.